Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a good afternoon yesterday, and I hope you're ready to learn. Today, we're going to look at a scholastic news, and this is not something you have with you. This is something that we're just going to look at together. And we're going to compare and contrast how this article from the Scholastic News is different from this story, The Very Busy Spider. We're going to look at it and we're going to compare and contrast some things. And then we're also going to retell the story. This is something that we haven't done, but we're going to start writing more because writing is so important. And I want us to begin to start writing more. And so we're going to start today. Okay, guys. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our vocabulary words for today. The first vocabulary word is spiders. Now, I'm sure you know what a spider is, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you again. Spiders are small animals with 8 legs, 2 body parts, and no wings. You may remember that from when we created our own spider. Insects. Insects are small animals with 6 legs, 3 main body parts or body sections, and sometimes wings. So what's the difference between a spider and an insect? Yeah, a spider has 8 legs and an insect has 6 legs. And insects can have wings. Spinnerets. That's a silly sounding word, isn't it? Spinnerets. Spinnerets are body parts that spiders use to make silk thread. Have you ever walked through a spider web and got it all stuck in your hair? I have. The spiders use their spinnerets to make their spider webs. Next thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at not a fiction versus nonfiction. Does anybody know the difference between fiction and nonfiction?
Fiction.
We're going to find out by listening to this video. Make sure you're paying attention as we listen to this video.
And nonfiction. Fiction and nonfiction. Do you like to read? Then you probably already know that there are all different kinds of books and magazines. Some are fiction and some are nonfiction. Fiction is made up from someone's imagination. Nonfiction tells about real life. It gives you information and facts. Stories that are nonfiction are true. This book is about spiders. It gives facts about spider bodies, how spiders catch their prey, and different kinds of spiders. It is nonfiction. This book is a story about a spider. This spider goes to school, talks to friends, and writes down everything that happens in a diary. Spiders don't really do those things. This book is fiction. Fiction often has illustrations or drawings. Sometimes they can be very silly. Sometimes things happen in fiction that could happen in real life. For example, in this story, 2 friends go swimming. Even though this could happen, it's a story that the author made up from her imagination. Sometimes things happen in fiction that could never happen in real life. For example, Sometimes animals can talk. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. Now let's take a look at nonfiction. Nonfiction often has photos. If there are drawings, they are usually realistic. That means the things in the drawings look like they do in real life. Nonfiction gives you facts and information. For example, the photos can show you how things happen. This nonfiction book shows how a sunflower grows. In nonfiction, you read only about things that happen in real life. Animals can't talk, but they might howl. Now let's review. Guess which is fiction? This or this? This is fiction.
Right.
Which of these is nonfiction?
Why was that fiction? Why do you think that was fiction? Yeah, you could tell by the illustrations. That's another big word. Illustrations are the drawings. It had drawings from where the author was telling a story and somebody drew pictures to go with the story.
This or this? This is nonfiction.
We can tell that's nonfiction by the pictures. Look at the pictures. Which one looks made up? Right. The one on the left side looks made up. And it looks made up because an author wrote a story and then they drew pictures to go with the story. Now, if we look on the right side, that picture of the grizzly bear, let me move my face so you can see. The grizzly bear eating the fish, that is a real picture. It's a photograph. And we find photographs in informational text. And those are nonfiction.
So, now you know the difference between fiction and nonfiction. But what do they have in common? They're both fun to read.
Okay, we're going to move on. And we're going to look at our two texts today. We have one text that is from our Scholastic News, and it's called Real Busy Spiders. And we have another text by Eric Carle, and that's a book. And this book is about the very busy spider. Before we look at our books, let's look at this video on spiders.
Tricky spiders. All spiders are predators. Predators hunt other animals for food.
What does it mean to be a predator? I know it just told you that, but I want you to think about that. If you're a predator, you hunt other animals for food.
Prey, like this bee, are the animals that get hunted. So how do spiders hunt and catch their prey? Let's find out. Many spiders use webs to catch prey. First, the spider spins its web. It's sturdy and sticky. An insect can get trapped. It's too sticky for it to escape. Now, the spider has something to eat. But webs aren't all that spiders use to catch prey. They have lots of ways to hunt, and lots of tricks. Jumping spiders lie low, waiting for prey to come near. Then they watch that prey closely, very closely. This spider has 8 eyes, and 2 of them help the spider see what's going on behind its back. Nope, that spider won't miss a thing. An insect comes close and pounce! The spider leaps through the air and lands right on top of its next meal. Net casting spiders go through a lot of effort to catch prey. Instead of making a web, they weave a net for every catch they make. When the net is finished, the spider holds it between its front legs. An insect crawls underneath, and swoop! The net drops down. That insect is trapped. Do you see a door on the ground? This insect doesn't either. But a trapdoor spider is hiding underneath, just waiting to pop out. And slam! That door is shut. There's no way out. But a trapdoor spider's traps don't always work perfectly. Sometimes an insect gets away. Oops. And hey, don't forget to shut that door, spider. Insects aren't the only thing on the menu for hungry spiders. Fishing spiders go fishing. They can walk on water, swim, and lie on top of the water's surface, just waiting for a fish to swim up. And when that fish comes near enough, splash! The spider catches it with its fangs. And just look at the size of that meal. The fish that spider caught is just as big as the spider. Pounce! Swoop! Slam! Splash! Spiders have lots of different ways to catch their food. So watch out, prey. These critters can be tricky.
Did you know spiders could do all of that? I didn't know that spiders could catch fish. That's really interesting. Now we're going to look at our text. We're going to look at, this is our scholastic news, and this is our story, The Very Busy Spider. We're going to start by listening to our story. Actually, no, we're going to start by doing a chart. The chart that I'm going to do today is called a K, W, and L chart. Now I'm going to put this chart like this, okay? And this chart is going to help me. Oh, there you go. This chart's going to help me become a better reader because I can look at this chart and I can organize my thoughts when I use this chart. So the first thing I'm going to write under K is what I know about a spider. What do you guys know about a spider? And I want you to get a piece of paper, pause for a second, get a piece of paper, and I want you to do your own KWL chart, okay? First, I want you to put, what do you know about a spider? Well, we know that spiders have 8 legs. We know that spiders are predators. We know that some spiders do webs. What are some other things we know? We know that spiders... What else do you know? They have 8 legs, they're predators, and they make webs. Now, I want to know something about spiders. I want to know how they don't fall off their webs. I want you to write in the W section. Oh goodness, guys, I'm sorry. In the W section, I want you to write what you want to know. So, what do you want to know about spiders? Well, I can put how they stay on web. Another thing I want to know is how long can they live without eating? Because it takes, or actually, that's another question for me too. How long does it take a spider to make a web? Is it a day? Is it an hour? How long does it take a spider? So, how long to make a web? Okay, and I have one more question. I want to know, how long can spiders go without eating? How long without eating? Okay? Now, this is going to help me organize the way I read. When I read, I can look and I can make sure I'm looking for details about these questions, and I'm also learning. And after we read, we're going to put what we have learned about the spider over under L. But for right now, we're just going to read. Okay? So first, we're going to start out with our Scholastic News article. And I'm going to put this on full screen, and I'm going to let the Scholastic News read aloud to us.
Busy spiders spin webs. Spiders are busy. They make webs and catch insects to eat. Busy spiders make silk. All spiders have spinnerets. They use them to make silk. Busy spiders weave webs. They make some silk that is sticky. They make other kinds of silk that are not sticky. They weave a web with both kinds of silk. Busy spiders wait. Spiders sit on their webs. They wait and wait. Buzz! A fly flies into the web. It gets stuck on the sticky part of the web. Busy spiders eat.
So, whenever I'm reading, I'm constantly asking myself questions as I read. And one question, or one thing that I wonder about, I wonder if the spider sits on the sticky part of the web. Maybe that's how he sits on his web. Maybe he sits on the sticky part. That's just something I wonder. Do you have anything that you wonder? What are you wondering as you read?
The spider runs to the fly. It wraps the fly in silk. Then it puts its mouth on the fly. It sucks the juices out of the fly's body. What a great meal!
I'm also wondering, it seems like they must wait a while for a meal to come through their net. Now we're going to look at the other text, and we're also going to decide, is that text that we just read, is that fiction or nonfiction? And how do we know? Which one do you think it is? Let's look at the details or the text features. Our photos on this, are they drawn? No, they're photographs. That means somebody took those and they're real pictures. Now, if it has real pictures, most of the time it's a nonfiction text. Let's look at the details. Is it telling us a story or is it telling us facts? Something that's real about a spider? Yeah, it's telling us real things about these spiders. And we're using this to learn more about the spiders. So, does that mean it is fiction or nonfiction? Great job, guys. Yes, this is a nonfiction text. Now we're going to look at the very busy spider. And we're going to read this.
A spider, blown by the wind to a fence post near a farmyard, begins to build her web and cannot be distracted from the task at hand. Not by the horse, the cow, sheep, goat, or dog. The Very Busy Spider, written and illustrated by Eric Carle. Early one morning, the wind blew a spider across the field. A thin, silky thread trailed from her body. The spider landed on a fence post near a farmyard and began to spin a web with her silky thread. "Nay, nay," said the horse. "Want to go for a ride?" The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. "Moo, moo," said the cow. "Want to eat some grass?" The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. "Baa, baa," bleated the sheep. "Want to run in the meadow?" The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. "Nah, nah," said the goat. "Want to jump on the rocks?" The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web.
I'm stopping for a second. What do you notice about this book that is not real? Do you notice anything that's not real? Well, I noticed that the animals are talking. Do animals talk? No.
Grunted the pig. "Want to roll in the mud?" The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. "Woof, woof," barked the dog. "Want to chase a cat?" The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Meow, meow, cried the cat. Want to take a nap? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Quack, called the duck. Want to go for a swim? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Cock-a-doodle-doo, crowed the rooster. Want to catch a pesky fly? And the spider caught the fly in her web, just like that. Ooh, ooh, asked the owl. Who built this beautiful web? The spider didn't answer. She had fallen asleep. It had been a very, very busy day.
Okay, guys. Now, what are some things you noticed as we read that book? How is that book different from the news article that we read? Do animals normally talk? Oh, that'd be silly if our animals could talk to us. What about the pictures? Did you notice that the pictures weren't photos? They weren't like this. The pictures were drawings. Can you use those clues? And can you tell me what kind of book we had just by using those clues? Yeah, we had a fiction book. Because in fiction books, the author has created a story and he's drew pictures to go with your story. We are going to look at a worksheet and we're going to fill out this worksheet on the books that we just read. We're going to do this together. This is something that you don't have at home, but I want you to look at it and I want you to think about it with me, okay? Compare a book and an article. Well, which one was a book? I know sometimes it's hard to be able to tell when we're on a computer all the time right now, but there's a difference between a book and an article. The book is something that you read for pleasure. It's something that you read because you want to read. And an article is something that you read for information. It's something you read to learn. The book was the story, the fake story, the made up story. So the book is by Eric Carle, and that's The Very Busy Spider. The book had the talking animals. It had the nice pictures that were drawn. The article is Really Busy Spiders, and this is a scholastic news, so that means that it's real. This is something that really happens. It has real photographs in it of real spiders, and it has lots of facts and information for you. So we're going to compare the two. Before we compare them, I want to show you my chart that I finished while we were reading our books. Now, I learned through the information that I found that a spider uses both sticky and silky thread in its web. And I also learned that spiders can catch and eat fish, because we can do this on all the information we learn. We don't just have to do this on books, we can also do this on the video that we watch. So these are 2 things I learned. I wonder what kind of things you learned today. Now let's compare and let's look at a book and an article. So which one had picked photos? And a photo is not just a picture, because a picture can be something you drew, or it can be a picture that was taken. A photo is a photograph, like a photo that you take on a camera. Which one had photos? I'm going to put a check right there. Good job. You were right. The news article had photos. Which one had drawings? Did this one have drawings? No. That one, the inside looked like that. Let's look at the inside. No, there's no drawings. Those are real pictures. Oh, but look at that. That's a drawing. A chicken don't really look like that, does it? No. So we're going to put a check mark in the book. The book had drawings. Which one had animals that talk? Was it a book or the article? Yeah, the book had animals that talked. In which one did the spider make a web? Well, the spider in the book made a web. Did the spider in the news article make a web? Yeah, the spider in the news article made a web too. So some things can be the same. When we're comparing, we can notice that some things in books are the same as in articles. It don't just have to be one or the other. Some things can be the same. That's okay. And then the last thing, a fly gets stuck in the web. Did a fly get stuck in the web in the book? Yeah. What about in the news article? Did a fly get stuck in the web? Let's look. Oh, yes, it did. It got caught in that web. Okay. Now let's move down, and we have a bonus question. What is one thing that is the same in the book by Eric Carle and in the Scholastic News article? What is one thing that's the same? I've erased my checks, but I want you to think about it. Did both the spiders make webs? Yeah. Did both of the flies get stuck in a web? Yeah. So that's 2 things that are the same. Can you think of something else that's the same? Awesome job. You guys are so smart. Now I'm going to move on and we're going to look at a video that tells us how to retell a story. Now when we retell a story, we are not going to retell the whole story. Sometimes we'll be asked to retell a story. And just think about a time that somebody's asked you about a story you've read, or they've asked you what you learned at school. Do you tell them every single thing you did that day? Or single thing you read? Do you start from the beginning and say, I had this for breakfast, and then we did this in our class? Do you have to tell them every point of your day? No. Goodness gracious, it would take so long if you did that. What you have to do is you have to tell them the main parts or the main details about your day. And so we're going to learn how to retell a story. And I'm going to let you retell the story of the very busy spider. So the story that we read today, I'm going to let you retell that story. Okay.
How to retell a story. Retell means to tell the most important parts of a story from beginning to end. We often retell stories to show that we understood it. Sometimes we retell a story just for fun because we want to tell our friends about it. When you retell a story, you can't retell everything. You only retell the most important parts. So, what is important? Usually, the most important parts are the characters, the setting, and the big events that happen in the story. Have you heard the story Goldilocks and the Three Bears? I'm going to retell it to you. Goldilocks and the Three Bears is a story about a girl named Goldilocks who goes for a walk in the forest. In the beginning, the bears left their house to go for a walk while their porridge cooled. Next, Goldilocks came to their house and she ate their porridge, sat in their chairs, and then fell asleep in one of their beds. In the end, the bears came home and scared Goldilocks. She jumped out of bed and ran away. My retelling included the characters, the setting, and the most important events from the beginning, middle, and end. Now you can practice retelling a story on your own. Thanks for watching. Check out other reading videos on the Teaching Without Frills YouTube channel.
Okay. Do you think that we could retell the story of the very busy spider? Let's think about it. So, if I retell the story, I need to have the characters. Now, who was my main character in the very busy spider? There were a lot of different characters, but who was the one that we were talking about? Who do you think the character was? The spider that was so busy. So I'm going to put spider right here. The setting. Where was the setting? The setting is where the story takes place. So where did the story take place? The story seemed to take place on a farm. Let's look at it one more time and let's see where it took place.
The Very Busy Spider. Early one morning, the wind blew a spider across the field. A thin, silky thread trailed from her body. The spider landed on a fence post near a farmyard.
So we were right. It is a farm. The setting is in a farmyard. Okay? Now let's think. What happened in the beginning? What was the main thing that happened in the beginning? What blew that spider into the farmyard? How did that happen? How did our story begin? A wind. So, beginning, there was a wind that blew the spider. I'm just going to put there was a wind. What happened in the middle of the story? What did that spider make with her silky thread? I'm just going to put a web. I think you know what happened in the middle of that story. And then at the end, what happened? Oh, the spider caught some dinner. Now, I want you to use all of these details that we found in our story. I'd like for you to use these details, and I'd like for you to retell my story. When you retell the story, you are going to write a paragraph. You're going to write your own story telling me about what happened in the story, okay? Make sure you have sentences with capital letters at the beginning and periods at the end. So the first line of my story, I could write, for my first line, the very busy spider is about a spider that flew into the farmyard. How do I end that sentence? I'm going to end that sentence with a period. Now, I have given you the very first sentence, or a very first sentence that you can use if you want to. There's one sentence that you could use. You could use something else that you made up. Now, I'm going to give you a Nearpod link. I know we've been using Nearpod a lot, and we've been using it because it's a great way for me to see your work after you do it. I'm going to let you retell your story. And after you retell your story, I'd love for you to draw a picture of your spider from your story. So, I'm going to send you a Nearpod with a retelling of your story and a picture and a drawing slide that will let you draw your story, okay? Other than that, after you finish retelling your story and drawing your story, you're going to submit it to me. That's how I'm going to count your attendance. That's how I know you've been doing your work and you're doing what you're supposed to do. After you finish doing your retelling of your story, you are going to take and you are going to do your iStation if you haven't done it, unless you have been notified by someone else. Some of you are going to be coming to the school to take it. If you're coming to the school to take it, don't do it. But if you are not coming to the school for a special occasion to take it, I'd like for you to go ahead and do your iStation, your extra math, your lyrics to learn, and have a good weekend. That's it, okay? Make sure you submit your Nearpod, your retelling of the story, and your drawing of the story, okay? Okay, I'll see you guys Monday in Zoom. Bye.